This dream I was given, I've tried to share this dream, and it always takes me way too long to set up the proper background. Um, so my testimony's on here if you want to watch that, but I think I could just share the dream, and this could apply to a lot of people. But a quick overview: I got saved, and this was a dream where God's presence flew away from me. I had this dream in the summer of 2019, and like I said, I was also shown that God does still speak to people in dreams and in visions. I had two dreams in 2012 when I got saved, and then in December of 2018, I had a dream from the Lord about Russian soldiers, and I had gotten influenced by like the Reform movement and I wasn't really sure what to think about that stuff, because you know how much insanity there is in the charismatic movement. This dream in the summer 2019 was where God showed me He does still speak to people, and also this is a dream against living like the world and living for the world, because God's presence flew away from me in this dream. So when I got saved, I'd had a lot of problems, and it was the Holy Spirit like coming on me and like reversing my mind and showing me what was wrong with me. And me at first just trying to use God to fix a bunch of problems that I had made in my life. That was how I got saved. And at first I was following Christ, and then after like 2 years of being saved, I wanted to go chasing back after the world, partying, drinking, and all that. But I couldn't talk to anybody, and I could barely drive. So none of that ever happened. And I ended up like heavily watching porn to desensitize and numb the fact that I couldn't function in the world and couldn't participate in the world. And then I was just totally amazed that God would want anything to do with me. I might have spent like 5-6 years living like that, but still I would still go to Bible study and at night listen to sermons or read. I didn't like fully, like I wanted to live like that, but I couldn't, so I would kind of come back to God because I had nowhere else to go. And I was totally amazed. So I spent like maybe 5 years doing that, and I was totally amazed that God would want anything to do with me, and that He was still with me the whole time that I was doing that. I'm trying to get to the dream, because this was a very terrifying dream. I had asked, what can I do? Because I can't talk to anybody. And the Holy Spirit clearly, not in an audible voice, said, you can pray. And for 6 months before I had this dream, I had been praying for like 45 minutes to like an hour and a half every day in like intercessory prayer. And I thought I had met a girl I was going to marry, and I thought a bunch of prayers were going to get answered, and they didn't. And when I had started to pray like that, the Holy Spirit kind of like reminded me everything that I was shown when I first got saved that I was doing and that had happened to me, as to why I was how I was. That's in my full testimony on here if you're interested in listening to that. But I had gotten better, and I was about to hook up with a girl, and I had a dream before that happened, and this was the dream before we so I was in my room looking out the window. There was a party at our neighbor's, and I was looking at all the girls, eyeing them up, trying to figure out which ones were the easiest. And then they started to come down our driveway, and I ran into the closet to hide as they came down. And then they stopped in front of our house, and I realized two of them were demons. They were huge, obese demons wearing just a G-string, and that was it. And this one girl in the middle starts to announce some things I did that I wouldn't go to jail, but I wouldn't want to admit to them. And other sins. And when I was sitting there, all the thoughts, worldly thoughts, were going through my head of living for the world, being, like the best. Like you see all the social media, everybody wants to be the top, and have everybody like them. And all the different thoughts about girls and partying, that was going through my head as well. But the one girl in the middle just announces all these sins and how I thought and other things I did. And these two demons like latched onto me. They were just like hooked onto me because of all the things this girl announced. Then it went to the girl I was about to hook up with, and she was dancing in a field, and I was this was summer of 2019. She was dancing in a field, and I was just staring at her and watching her dance and lusting after her. And then all of a sudden, God's presence shows up, and then and then all of a sudden she's gone. God's presence shows up, and then she's gone. And I am just terrified that I never told her. And she might have known I went to church, and other than that, I'm not sure. But God's presence shows up, she disappears, and I'm all of a sudden terrified that I never told her my testimony. I never told her about Jesus, and I never told her about the Russian invasion. That was in the dream, and I was still really freaked out about that dream. And then I'm running all over through fields and through woods, screaming her name, looking for her, yelling for her so I can tell her my testimony and everything that God had done for me. And then God's presence just leaves, and just kind of through the air, just kind of recedes and leaves me. And then I'm running through the fields, screaming, pleading with God to come back. I'm just running through the fields, bawling my eyes out, screaming at the top of my lungs, running through the grass as fast as I could. And I fall down in the field, bawling my eyes out while I'm pleading with Jesus to come back. And I fall down crying, and then his presence comes back. And the words, these were like thought communication words, but it says I was not these were clear words, and then there was just kind of like thoughts communicated. But as I fall down and I'm bawling my eyes out in the grass because God's presence had left, he said, the Holy Spirit says, I was not going to go out of my way to use you. I was not going to go out of my way to keep you alive, to use you like I had planned. But because you prayed, and I had been praying a lot about struggling. That was like I had picked a girl out. I wanted to marry her. It didn't work out. And then I started to watch porn again. And I was like, what's the point? So I was about to hook up with a girl. girl I knew. But he says, I was not going to go out of my way to keep you alive, to use you like I had planned. But because you prayed, and then my mind went to my dream about the Russian invasion and what David Wilkerson was shown in 1973. If you type in David Wilkerson 1973 vision and him seeing New York City on fire, my mind went to my dream about Russia and what he was shown. And it felt like there was like a scroll of information being held up. And the scroll was not opened up to me for me to know what was in it. But I got a yes. End times events are about to begin. This was July 2019. And then I woke up. And when I woke up, the first thing on my phone, I don't set my alarm because we used to milk, so I've never woken up late, but I was like terrified, and it was a lot lighter out than it normally was. So even though I'd had this dream and was shook up, I was a little worried I was late. I might be late at the same time. And on YouTube there was a girl from Russia who she had posted a dream she was given about America being destroyed, and it was titled "Adultery is a Sin." And her dream, that's what the dream was about. Adultery being everything going on in America along those lines, and us not thinking it's a big deal. And then also America being invaded by Russia and a major earthquake coming. And I was like, I don't know if that was a coincidence and then the Holy Spirit came back, and as I clicked on her videos, the Holy Spirit clearly let me know that no, this was a dream from him, and that he had wanted to show me more and use me more, but because of where my heart was and what I was living for, he hadn't shown me anything, hadn't been able to show me anymore. And like I said, for 2 years when I got saved, I was like saved, and then for like 5 years I was more interested in partying, drinking, and hooking up with girls, and I couldn't. But because I couldn't, I was watching tons of porn, and that's the Holy Spirit let me know when I clicked on her video that her video was from him, and that he would have shown me more. And then when I closed her video, my YouTube was just flooded. You see all the playlists I put together. It was just flooded with different people being shown the same things she was shown. Earthquakes, economic crash, just regular people. None of these people are pastors in the charismatic movement or the new new apostolic movement. None of these people have anything to do with that, and they're just all regular people, like nurses, construction workers. Well, these are just regular people God is showing that God still speaks to in dreams and visions.